Hello, welcome to a Book Session. I'm Ashley Gunn. For all of you guys who follow my Twitter feed, you already know that I just finished reading Presently Perfect by Alison and I wanted to tell you guys a review of it. So, like I said, if you do follow my Twitter feed, you know this was a bit of a tearjerker. Embarrassed me a little teeny bit. But I wanted to tell you guys about it because it's also an incredibly well-written book. Alright, so basically the first half of this book, you have Amanda and Noah and their relationship since they were children. They've spent their entire lives together. They were each other's first kiss. The entire relationship has always been both of them completely in love with each other, but Noah is willing to take that risk of what happened to their relationship afterwards, and Amanda's not. Because she doesn't feel like she's worthy of Noah, and that's not just his fault. It's really about her. She also feels like her older sister's perfect, Noah's perfect, her parents' marriage is perfect. So really, she feels like the odd one out. And it prohibits her from doing a lot of things that she could do in life, just simply even trying a relationship with Noah. So eventually, because Noah lets his feelings be known, that actually kind of drives a wedge in between their relationship before college. During college, one night, Amanda's going to get hurt. She's going to sprain her ankle, and it's not going to heal like it should. So she's still in pain. She goes back to the doctor, and she finds out that she actually has bone cancer, which is extremely aggressive. They're going to have to amputate her leg from the knee and below. So it's an incredible story, first of all, because you're actually there with this essentially young, healthy girl to find out that she has bone cancer. And not only are they going to have to amputate her leg, but then they're also going to have to go through the rounds of chemo and everything. To me, this isn't going to be the typical book about cancer, though, because the first half of the book being devoted to Amanda's childhood and her relationship with Noah and everything really gives you that sense of this person and who she's been her entire life. So you get a sense of it being your child. Like, you don't want this person to have to go, you don't want anyone to have to go through it, but you definitely have that, like, just pick her up and hold her kind of reaction when she finds out she has cancer. There are a couple of other things that are really interesting. The very first time she finds out she has cancer, her mother's there. And Amanda almost goes into denial, like, no, it's a sprained ankle. It's not cancer. And then the next doctor's appointment, she actually goes with her father, her mother, and I believe Noah is there as well. And that's when the doctor tells her about the amputation and everything. So this is the first part where I started crying. And that was because the doctor essentially tells Amanda, I have a daughter that's around your age, and the truth is that you may want to talk to your parents about your arrangements. And she's thinking, he's talking about, like, her going through chemotherapy and stuff, and where she's going to stay, who's going to take care of her, those things. And her father has to explain to her, no, the doctor's talking about what would happen if you died. And that's just an incredible thing to have to read, because I have a daughter, and to have to think of that process, to think of setting that up for your own child, that's a very difficult thing to imagine. Anyways, so from there, Amanda will actually go through the amputation, go through the chemotherapy. The way that she reacts with her sister and Noah, I think it's a telling situation. So one time in particular, I have to tell you guys this. I have 5 sisters, and there's this scene where Amanda is essentially saying, like, I am not strong enough to go through this. It's too hard. Just tell everyone to let me die. And when I read that, bawled. Could not even explain to you the amount of crying I did. Because I understand logically that she's in pain and she's saying this, but I couldn't imagine hearing those words come from my sister. Does that make sense? Anyways, that part was just the way that the pain and the emotion and everything is written in this, honestly, and I don't know, I honestly think that Alison Bailey either has a personal experience with cancer or has seen someone go through it. My stepmother passed away from breast cancer, and a lot of the things that Alison writes about is very, very accurate. The straining of the throat and stuff like that. The way that eating becomes more and more difficult through chemotherapy, and the energy levels and everything. It was just so accurate and incredibly well written and just beautiful. All of that aside, so then there's this part where Amanda writes letters to what would potentially be her daughter. And reading those letters, that was the end of it. I mean, for real, I looked like a crazy person. I went from, like, a tear to, like, sobbing. It was incredible. The letters, though, one of the things that I think reading them occurred to me is the fact that, have I taught my daughter these things? Does that make sense? Because if you're dying, or you may die, and you're writing letters to a potential future child. You have all of these like last, I want to get everything I want my child to know out there moments. Then I think that as a mother who's healthy, I should have those same thoughts. Have I taught my daughter everything I want her to know? If tomorrow I wasn't with her, would she have this grasp of reality of the world that I wanted her to know? It was incredible. As a mother, as a wife, as a woman, as a human, it was an incredibly well written book. So after reading the first half of the book, I didn't expect the cancer story because I expected it to be a story of Noah and Amanda figuring out their relationship. And as weird as it sounds, in some ways, cancer helped. Because at the beginning, she's going to push him away because she doesn't want him to be attached to her and then her die. And then eventually she realizes, if I'm going to die, I want to die having known that I at least attempted a relationship with Noah. That kind of a thing is incredible. I mean, really, it's an incredibly well-written book. It is sad. I would absolutely not recommend reading this in public because, like I said, I looked like a crazy person. But that aside, just if you love books where the author reaches you, this is your type of book. If you like this review, go ahead and like it. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put that in the comment section below. And then if you want my videos every week, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you again soon.